Welcome to the garage. I'm the head mechanic, Mr. Mac, here for the 6 p.m. garage session. Do me a favor, get your tool belt, get your coveralls, and let's tool this up. Let me give it a little second to let some of the folks get in here. But if you see the topic, you know what we're talking about. And I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I'm a little under the weather, a little too sick to be gentle and finesse it. If you saw Mechanism Monday, Charlie, what up, man? Lead mechanic, Mr. Charlie Funk in the building. Salute, King. Hope you enjoyed your birthday. And I saw that shout, man. That was fire. I had a feeling you weren't feeling well. Well, you know it's gonna take something like that to keep me away from y'all. I'm loving this with y'all. B74, what up, darling? Good to see you. Another mechanic in the building. Tool belt coveralls over on the shelf. Get that. Let's get to it. Thank you. I am feeling better though. Like it was rough. It was rough. I'm back in the business. No, it was light. Who am I to? It was light. Just it was just enough to knock me on my ass and take me out the paint. But y'all know, God willing, I'm gonna be right here in the garage with y'all getting it together, man. Like we gotta discuss these things. Little Yachty, little Pump. Nothing the God can't solve. You, Charlie, you. I'll stop you when you start lying. I will stop you when you start lying. Nice hoodie. Let me throw that. Nice hoodie. Well, I'll stop you when you start lying too. But real quick, they're all nice hoodies. They're all, no, all my hoodies are nice. They're all nice hoodies. It's the hoodie. It's the hoodie god. It's the hoodie god here. They're all nice hoodies. I'm not gonna beat around the bush, man. This Yachty and Pump situation. I think. Oh, by the way, do me a favor, everybody who's tuning in, you're watching this. Do me a solid. Hit the likes, hit the subs. That's how you show your boy love. Let's continue to build this community out. I want a nice strong run to get to 10K. And every time I click on here, it's like another 10, 20, 30 followers just like subscribing. So I'm loving the rapid growth of this, and I want to keep this party going. So again, hit the likes, hit the subs. That's how you show your boy love. And let's keep this garage built. I'm trying to expand and put a couple of these operations in every state. And I don't want to just make a place where, the hip hop heads can sit down and get right. I also want to make it a place where the non-hip hop heads know they're not welcome. They need to know they're not welcome. We need something like that. If you're not hip hop, if you're not of the culture, if you don't really care about advancing this culture and forwarding this and making it so that dope artists can thrive and prosper, and making it so that people that enjoy the culture can thrive and prosper, and we don't have to worry about outside manipulation and vultures and all this other. If you're not with that, if I talk about who's nice and you tell me about who sells more, we ain't in the same community. Case in point, this whole Yachty conversation irritated me so crazy because I watched a bunch of people, good dudes that I know, who I am super cool with, do the equivalent of like bending over backwards trying to give this dude grace when he is absolutely foul. And I think that's one of the ways we as the OGs go wrong. If you're an unk in this thing, I think that's one of the ways we go wrong. And the problem is, if you are in your, if you are 35 and up, actually little, yeah, if you're like 35, 36, late 30s, early 40s, hell, even in your 50s, if you are 35 and up, you probably still remember a time when your parents got on you about listening to hip hop. You probably had those conversations. I definitely did. I had a lot of my aunts, uncles, even my pop would look at me, and you know how I feel about my father, but he used to look at me crazy when he would hear scratching, and he'd look at me like, you actually like this. Like he wasn't kidding. We still remember having those fights. So we don't want to inflict those on the younger generation. So we do a whole lot of, I mean, our parents didn't understand us when we was listening to it. You got to give them some grace. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Our parents weren't listening to hip hop. We were. Our parents came from the Motown generation and 70s black exploitation and funk and all that good stuff. That's what they came from. Hip hop wasn't their thing, but hip hop is our thing. We were born and raised on this. We know exactly what it's supposed to sound like. We not mashing down the youth when we try to maintain the standard, when we try to hold this thing to a certain artistic level. That's not hating on them. That's loving the culture too much to just let it dip, let it slide, and let it be corny. So when a dude like Yachty decides that it's okay for him to take shots at Sugar Hill, we're so, I mean, I don't want to hate on the youth. We're so scared of looking like those tired, irrelevant old haters that you just let them get away with murder. You let them say whatever. You let them completely disrespect the house. Is three reasons why I don't hold to that philosophy. Number one, the main one being I don't hold that guilt of not being understood by my OGs and my father. I recognize that my father, my mother, they didn't come up on hip hop. We the generation that came up on hip hop. We're the ones who watched it evolve. We watched it grow. We watched it advance. We watched the lyricism get more complicated from Sugar Hill to now. And then we were also around to watch the regression. We watched the lyrics go from these intricate, rewindable bars that you had to go back because you maybe didn't catch it the first time. That was the hook. That was when it was dope. That was one of the flyest parts about it, was the fact that maybe you didn't catch everything the first time because this dude was so clever. Your brain was on overtime and you loved it. You loved the fact that it took some kind of critical thinking to sink into how you just enjoyed the fact that this dude was this dope. And then it regressed. And then it got done. And then we dumbed it down so other people could come play. And when I say us, I mean the labels. They dumbed it down. So and now he had these ABs, and we started going backwards, back to the days towards the Sugar Hill Gang. Add in the fact that you now have rappers taking credit for stuff that was already around. They talk about singing and rapping as if Houdini never existed, as if Curtis Blow never existed, as if Mos Def isn't still running around out here thrashing whatever's moving. We really let them take credit for stuff that was already out because of the detachment, because we as the OGs didn't say, hey, listen, this is where you come from. And you need to value this thing more than just the sales because this is your culture, this is your heritage. We just let that part, here's your tradition, we just let that part completely out. And, on one end, of course, you make room for the new stuff. You make room for innovation. But we're not seeing innovation. We're seeing de-evolution. We're seeing it get simpler and more and more basic, to the point where Yachty is sitting there and has to go all the way back to the first record, the first commercial hip hop record ever sold, as a justification as to why he sounds the way he does in 2026. Actually, as to why he sounded the way he sounded in 2016. He has to take a shot at founders in order to make what he's doing now okay to do. Bro, we've evolved past that. We went way past that. How are you going all the way back there and taking a shot at people who would probably sound better in the cypher than you do? They probably would have had a better freestyle on Bootleg Kev than you did. Definitely would have had it memorized. 100% wouldn't have been reading it off the BlackBerry. Wouldn't have been on beat. Like, how disrespectful to the craft can you be when you really don't care about what you're doing? Move over to Little Pump. Little Pump has the nerve, the gall to refer to J. Cole as an embarrassment to hip hop. I know what you're thinking, especially if you hear. I know what you're thinking. As far as him walking away from the battle with Kendrick, throwing the shot and retreating and then apologizing. Yes, I completely understand why you would call that embarrassing. I'm not even here to argue with you. What I am here to say is somebody like Little Pump, you ain't the one to talk, bro. You not I don't give a fuck what this dude do. You not the one to call him on anything. I'm killing the messenger. You ain't the one to deliver that message. Embarrassment of hip hop. The man whose bars has been what he's lived and died by since he came out. And I only know you from Gucci Gang promoting Donald Trump and then rocking women's fingernails talking about please don't bite my look this summer. I'll never forget that. Unfortunately, that shit is burned in my brain. Any kind of gimmick you could use to get over. And now you got the nerve to get mad at this man because he allegedly walked out of a club in Florida when your music came on. Bro, if they start playing Little Pump music in a club I'm in, I know it's time to go. It's time to go. They're basically telling me to leave. It's time to go. You still playing music from all that time ago? And I got it, man, it's time to go. It ain't 90s hip hop. You playing this? I got the guy. Or maybe he was just ready to go. And that song was just his cue. But I don't know how we got to the point where the ball boy feels like he can shout out and criticize the all-star. How the fuck do we get there? Yeah, y'all both work for the NBA, but y'all in two totally separate places, my G. Like, completely separate. At best, at best, you are hosting during the timeout and throwing out t-shirts to people, and no disrespect to them. But imagine one of those dudes who with the t-shirt cannons sending t-shirts into the upper deck criticizing Jalen Brunson on his game. How, bro? How? How do we get there? How do we get to this point where these are the dudes who feel like they can just take shots at our foundation, take shots at our all-stars, and nobody says nothing. We want to. I'll tell you what I've gotten back. We should just ignore them. You just ignore the goofies, let them be on goofy time. That sounds cool. That sounds cool. But not everybody goes away when you ignore them. That's not how it always works. A lot of these dudes stick around. And here's the other thing. And this is going to sound super wild. I don't want them to go away. I don't want the littles to go away. I want them to do better. I want them to get better. You're in this culture. You're here now. You're selling records. You're a representative, whether I like it or not, whether the next OG likes it or not, whether the next Unk likes it or not, whether the next YN likes it or not. Because believe it or not, there are YNs who are lyrical as hell, whether they like it or not. That you are here. You are a representative. I want you to do better. I want you to be better. I want you to actually care about this thing more than just a pathway to get you a lot of cars, a fancy house, purses, and fingernail polish. Like, bro, I just want you to represent us better. And you can't do that when you're throwing shots at founders. That's not how any of this works. That's not how any of this works. And no other genre does this goofy shit. Yachty, if you know that you're going to come out with a freestyle off your phone and it's going to sound that ass, don't have nobody else's name in your mouth. Just spit your freestyle and call it a day. But you want to sit there and talk about, it was making fun of us. There was a lot of trash in the 90s. Okay, there's a lot of trash in every era, in every genre of music. That doesn't give you an excuse to be exactly that. So because this guy rapped like this back when hip hop first fucking came out, it's okay for you to sound like this now in a world where we've done everything we can to advance this art form to the point where we're getting Pulitzer Prizes and Mark Twain Awards and we're up for everything under the sun. Advancing this art as a legitimate genre just to have you throw us back to the fucking Stone Age to make a comparison so you can get over still doing the Dr. Seuss nonsense you do. Like, bro, stop. Don't leave the founder's name out of your mouth. Pump, Until you have like leave J. Cole's name out of your mouth. You tried it, bro. 1985. Remember, you tried it. You tried it already. You tried it. It didn't work the first time. And your life went damn near exactly the way he said it was gonna go. But instead of loving hip hop, you ended up on streams, which is the new reality television. I've said that before. We've come full circle. We're right back to the, and now here you are again. You a bitch. You an embarrassment to hip hop because I don't like your shit. You who have never fully cared about hip hop culture, you have never shown no real interest outside of what it can make for you. And you a Trump supporter, man. Get rocks. Get the fuck out of here. Like you smoking dust. This is a we play this little game in New York when you hear somebody wilding out on the train or wilding out when you're walking down. At least I do. Play this little game of let's try to figure out if this is a case of too many of the drugs they like or not enough of the drugs they need. Every time I hear these dudes talking, I start trying to figure out which one it is. But I'm off this. Like we have to stop just pussyfooting around it and being scared of called the hater. Like you can't let that fear just let these dudes run over every tradition we've ever had, run over every standard we've ever had, run over every principle we've ever had, and replace it with nothing. There's nothing to replace it except for get money. There's no principle in place of the ones they want to erase. I'm all for evolution and change. Show me what we doing next. Show me I'm here for it. I love innovation. I love moving forward. I love advancement in the art form. Show me what we doing next. But they'll tear up all kinds of traditions, respect, integrity, trash it all, and then give you nothing afterwards. And you just supposed to be okay with that. Nah, no, no, no. And here's the third part. And this is where I'm gonna stop it at. Here's the third part. I wouldn't care what either one of these dudes were doing with their careers. I promise you I wouldn't. Except for the fact that their whole thing seems to be, their entire marketing plan seems to be taking shot at foundational shit. Just taking aim and firing off at foundational basic shit, cornerstones of our culture, where it's not that serious to them and they just fire off on it. And that's their whole marketing plan. Tearing up or tearing down or attacking foundational bricks in our shit, in our culture. If you're not mentioned, like, I don't know where we got it to the point where the ball boy is taking shots at the All Star. I don't know how we got to the point where a dude who sounds like he should have been rapping back in the early 80s, late 70s, is now rapping in 2026 on Bootleg Kev, making excuses early for why he sounds like that and blaming the fact, like, bro, 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 we can't be afraid to say something. We should say something. Yes, I know his fans are ridiculed. Yes, I know they get sick of hearing people who have been here before talk to them like they don't know nothing. And that's not where I'm coming from. I want to reiterate, I just want them to do better. You represent us. Or decide you don't. In which case, stop taking up space. If you're not hip hop, if you're not from the culture, don't go on Bootleg Kev. Don't go to the hip hop outlets. Get out the way and leave that for hip hop artists. I can name a smooth dozen off the top of my head who would be much better in those spaces, who could really use that exposure and who the world needs to hear, who have put so much work in their craft. Their reward should be, they should be rewarded with that Bootleg Kev audience. If you're not hip hop, stop going to hip hop spots. Stop going to hip hop spots. off that. I'm off that. I'm off that. I'm off that. Pardon me. Excuse me if I'm being a little too much. But bro, we gotta stop. We gotta stop. I'm fed at this point. Like, let's stop making excuses for them. Because how would they possibly get better if we just keep laughing it off and saying, ah, well, you can't hate. You got to let them do them. I mean, that's the youth. Yo, bro, these are grown men we talking about. These are grown adult men. The date on the calendar got nothing to do with the level of respect they pay to the genre and culture that changed their lives for the better. For the better. That they decided they chose to be in and change their lives for the better. We all know you're getting into this thing. All I'm asking for is respect. And if you respect it, you'd want to improve. If you respected it, you'd want to advance. If you respected it, you'd want to protect it. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm saying. And who am I? Just the lover of the culture, bro. You ain't gotta pay me no attention if you don't want to. You don't have to pay. I'm nobody to tell anybody what to do. You don't have to listen to me at all. I'm not lying though. Who am I? Don't really matter. Who I'm not is a liar. Not lying. I'm not making none of this up. I'm not make show me where I'm lying and I'll shut the fuck up. In the meantime, in between time, mothers and sisters, bunions and blisters, brothers and sisters, this has been the 6 p.m. garage session. I am your head mechanic, Mr. Mech. Hit the likes, hit the subs. That's how you show your boy love. In here for a good time, not a long time. We're going to pack up and get out of here. Tomorrow night, the garage will be open again at 6 p.m. We are going to go live and have these exact same discussions. We're on a strong march moving up on these subscribers. So keep showing the love, keep sharing, keep spreading this message. We're going to get it out there. In the meantime, thank y'all for holding me down. Apologies again. Sick as a dog yesterday. I'm still on the road to recouping, but I'm here because y'all are here. I see y'all tomorrow, 6 p.m., God willing. Lead Mechanic out.